What's up, everybody? We're going to get right into this one. I want to talk about the Fed meeting and why Bitcoin's reacting the way it is. We also have news that Hong Kong's largest broker is accepting crypto trading. I also want to show you a couple of Bitcoin miner charts. And we have an article saying Bitcoin ignores the 100% chance of a Fed rate cut odds as Bitcoin goes back to 2-week lows. What do we normally see around the FOMC meeting? We usually see Bitcoin sell off, and then shortly after it does rally. So I wouldn't be worried with Bitcoin here. This is what it's done for the past few meetings, honestly. We're pretty much looking at a 100% chance of a cut. Chance of a 500 to 525 basis point or a 0.25% cut is 84.5%. Chance of a 0.5 cut or 475 basis point to 500 basis point, you're talking about 15.5%. There's a 100% chance we are getting one or the other cut. I would expect 25, but the market at least is expecting we are going to get a cut starting in September. Crypto sees a potential for a short squeeze from near our current levels. You'll notice this large amount of retail short liquidations. If we can get a move up, these will be forced to liquidate. I also want to show you guys that our CME gap was just filled. That is a good sign. And we just got news that Hong Kong's largest online broker, Fomc, has launched Bitcoin and crypto trading. This is a brokerage with over 3.5 million customers. Fomc is leaping past its rivals by allowing retail to trade on its app. It also applied for a full Bitcoin and crypto exchange license for its Panther Trade platform. One of the 11 deemed licensed interim exchanges in Hong Kong that are waiting the SFC approval. They're also currently waiving commissions for Bitcoin. They want this to be a success. They want this to grow. They want to gain that market share. Now I want to go over Bitcoin's chart. There's really nothing to be surprised about. We're still just following our ascending channel. We're resting right at the 200 MA and right around our ascending support line. Now if we do break this line, it would indicate a change in direction. Perhaps we get into another downtrend. Maybe we see some sell pressure from Mt. Gox that brings us into a downtrend. But for now, we are in a beautiful uptrend. My expectation is, being that we just got through the Fed meeting, typically Bitcoin sees a pullback and then rally shortly after. I would expect a bounce here, not a breakdown. And I'm already on record saying this, but I do think that this 55K was in fact the bottom. And this was at the max fear point with Mt. Gox. I could be wrong, of course, and perhaps the rest of the Mt. Gox gets released. We happen to get more sellers in this tranche compared to the last set of people that received their funds, received their crypto, I should say. But I do personally think that the bottom is here, and I do think that we are going to follow this uptrend. Keep an eye on the divergences, whether bearish or bullish. We do get them quite often, and Bitcoin does respect them quite often. We've had divergences that basically mark the top, divergences that have basically marked the bottom, and our most recent was this bearish divergence here, which shortly after we did drop from. But keep an eye on Bitcoin over the next few days, few hours. Look for any divergences on shorter time frames that move into longer time frames. It might be a good indication of a reversal from this short-term pullback. But the reality is we are in a slightly longer than short-term run-up. And if you zoom out, we're in a long-term uptrend, a long-term run-up. So zoom into different charts, you might say we're in a downtrend, we're in an uptrend, etc. On the very shortest term, we're in a downtrend. Over the last couple of days, we've obviously been pulling back, but when you zoom out, we have been running up since we bottomed out here in the end of July, and we have been continuing to trend up since we hit the bear market low of 15,000 back in 2022. I have a feeling a lot of the people that have been complaining lately are people that bought very, very recently. People that bought when we were getting signs of topping out. More signs of topping out. Remember, zoom out with crypto. The simplest thing you can do is follow the 4-year cycle. We get around 2 years of a bull cycle, 2 years of a bear cycle, and the halving in between that is typically the major catalyst that drives the bear market and the bull market. We are still in the middle of the bull run if you simply follow the cycles. Now it is the first of the month here while I'm recording, but Cleanspark's mining update is not out yet. Keep an eye on their investor relations page. All you have to do is type in Clsk IR on your Google search engine and it'll pull up their investor relations. And this will be the first thing that will have their mining update. And as a reminder, their earnings is coming out on August 8th. And we did have a Bitcoin miner that just reported earnings. They missed the top and bottom line, but forward guidance was actually pretty decent. Their forward guidance, they're expecting nearly $100 million in revenue, still expecting an unprofitable quarter. I expect we'll see that from the other miners as well. But look at that revenue growth. They reported a $70 million quarter, which is about $10 million less than last quarter. Keep in mind, we just got through the halving. So we just got through the rough patch here for the miners. Quarters moving forwards, just like with Riot here, with this nearly $100 million revenue from 70 million. Quarters moving forwards with these miners, we will see revenue growth again. And we're finally getting out of this kind of a stagnation, a pullback period where revenue has declined because of rewards being cut. But looking at Riot's chart, it's continuing to pull back. We just literally filled this gap in here. I would expect that we start heading higher. This is a descending wedge. Typically this is bullish. Typically you do get a breakout to the upside on a descending wedge. Plus we're just getting this tightening up. We're getting less of a range. You see these ranges right here where we're jumping and jumping. Right now we've just been like going straight in one direction. Usually when you get something like that, whether it's up or down, you get a reversal, you get a move in the opposite direction. But I mean, look, these divergences, I'm telling you guys, look at this. Here's another one. We had a declining top on the RSI, but look at where these line up. You'd think this would be these right here, but they're not. It's this right here. That's the RSI divergence. It started here and it went there. We saw a higher high on the chart, but a lower high on the RSI, and that marked the top for Riot, and we started pulling back. I got examples for days. Here's another one. You see the price rising, but the RSI is dropping, and what did that do? That brought us to lower levels after that. Here's another one that marked the bottom. You'll see that the price was level here. However, we saw higher low on the RSI, another divergence, a bullish one, and we did rally from that point. So keep an eye on the chart. Look for a bullish divergence on the 4 hour. That's what I have pulled up, and it seems like we do see a lot of divergences on it. Riot has definitely not been the best performing Bitcoin miner. It's only up 200% from its bear market low. But if you look at it, you'll see that overall it is going up. We are respecting this ascending support line. This will be an important line to hold up if we do continue pulling back into the 9 area, low 9s. But I would expect Riot to use this as a support based on where we are in the 4-year cycle, based on Riot getting out of the halving earnings, being that we're going to see increasing revenue moving forwards. When Bitcoin moves up in price, we'll see guides to profitability. If you're looking to acquire Riot, I believe now would be the time. I do believe there will be faster moving Bitcoin miners, but I also preach to have a diversified portfolio, and maybe you want a little bit of Riot. Now looking at Cleanspark is kind of a similar chart, but a little more tilted upwards. Cleanspark has performed very well. But just like Riot, Cleanspark has, maintained this ascending support until now. It looks like we are starting to potentially break it. If we continue to fall down on weakness, maybe we do see a big reaction on the break of this pattern, and we possibly don't hold this support. I personally would expect that we do hold this support right around 14. Coming up to earnings, maybe earnings disappoints and we do pull back, and we potentially attempt to fill that gap that I still don't expect to fill from the 10 to 12s. I still don't expect it. But if earnings comes out bad, maybe there's a chance. One positive announcement from Riot was that they were pretty much done with their ATM. They made like 575 of their 750 million from their share offering. We'll probably hear some similar news from Cleanspark. Typically, Cleanspark doesn't utilize their whole share offering, but in the earnings, they will shed some light on that. And if the ATM is done and complete, that'll be a good news. That could send Cleanspark higher, as well as good forward guidance. Sorry about my voice. If we see some good forward guidance, huge growth in revenue, I mean, they're expecting a $110 million quarter. If they give like guidance for a $130 million quarter moving forwards, I think that'd be pretty good news. I think that's very possible. The biggest thing will be, can they expect a profitability in the upcoming quarter? With Bitcoin where it's at, I don't think there are any Bitcoin miners that are profitable, but something like a Cleanspark would be one of the first to post profitability. A lot of people are losing faith with miners. Over the last couple of months, they have been pretty rough. We just got through the halving. The market is trying to digest the fact that these Bitcoin miners are now taking half the revenue, essentially half the rewards that they were previously. It will take some time until the market realizes this is a net positive, as it drives Bitcoin's price higher. The halving is a huge positive for Bitcoin, and it will turn out to be a big positive for the Bitcoin miners because of what comes down the road with Bitcoin's price. I still do expect in this cycle we will see very many of the miners posting profitability, and we still have many quarters to go before the cycle wraps itself up and we get into crypto winter. But let me know, guys, how are you feeling about the Bitcoin miners? Are you taking advantage of them now? Are you starting to sell your positions? Are you getting out and getting into something else completely? Are you preparing for the upcoming alt season potentially? Thanks as always for watching, guys. Keep an eye for the Bitcoin mining updates. Most miners post theirs right around this time. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.